There is a secret pattern that is emerging with your prospect every single time that they open their mouth, which will allow you to decode their real objections so you know exactly what's stopping them from moving forwards with your product or your offer. Hey, I'm Justin James, and in this YouTube video, I'm going to show you how to decode what your prospect is really saying, not just from their mouth, but from their body language, their eye patterns, their movements, their facial expressions, everything that's going on, so that you can really uncover what's happening with them. Because at the end of the day, let's be perfectly honest, the number one reason why most people don't buy from you is because of some form of objection, whether that's fear, price, or a lack of ability to make a decision. And I want to help you with that. Now, look, having trained tens of thousands of entrepreneurs all across the world over the last 10 years, as a former psychiatric nurse, I've taken what I used to do with patients and brought it into the world of sales. Nobody's teaching this stuff, because at the end of the day, I want to make sure that you've got the edge when it comes to closing more deals. So I want you to shift your perspective a little bit on this video, because at the end of the day, all of us have at some point been introduced to some form of script or some kind of methodology to help close a deal, right? Whether that's you following a sales script verbatim or you having a framework that you follow to move forwards. Now, I love and hate frameworks at the same time. Frameworks are brilliant because they actually allow you to give you some structure to what you're doing. What I don't like about them is this. People get hell-bent on following the framework and the structure and the script so much that they forget to be in tune with the prospect. And that's why they're missing buying signals, and they're also missing signals around objections and things that are really, really going on. And if you pay attention to your prospect and stop focusing on a script or a framework, then what starts to happen is you start having a deep, meaningful conversation. Now, for example, let's just take it out of the frame of sales for a minute. Have you ever been sitting with a good friend who said to you, hey, listen, I need to speak to you. I've got stuff going on and I really, really could do with someone to lend me an ear. During that conversation, would you agree with me that you were present with them because they needed you in that moment? Would you agree? Yeah. You weren't thinking about what you're going to do tomorrow or script or anything like that. You were fully with them in that moment, which basically means you were able to pick up on how they were feeling. You will pick up on what the pauses meant. You will pick up on absolutely everything. Yeah. Have you ever had a friend or someone that you're close to start speaking to you and then they stop for a minute because they're about to well up? And immediately, just by seeing their body language, you know that something is hurting them and it's worse than what they're saying. And you're able to go, hey, listen, tell me the truth. What's really happening? Right? You ever had that situation before? That's exactly the same in sales. You have to be with your prospect. Otherwise, you miss absolutely everything. You miss all the signals, because there are prospects that are actually telling you to take their money, but you're not seeing it. And there's also prospects that are telling you that, hey, these are the reasons why I don't want to buy, and you're not able to handle that right now, so I'm never going to buy from you. You've got to know how to handle objections before they even come up. You've got to learn to read the signals, read the signs, find out what's really, really going on. Because if you don't, I'm telling you now, my friends, you're going to leave money on the table. Ask me how I know this. For many, many years, I was just trying to, tell people to buy my stuff and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. And then I thought, hang on, no, this isn't going to work. What did I used to do with the patients? I get it. Okay, understand how the mind works, understand human behavior, help people to buy, don't sell to them, let them take ownership of the buying decision. All of these things I started to do, and I started to get results, which allowed me to generate over 22 million in personal sales doing this stuff. And my clients have gone on to do over 200 million and growing using these exact same techniques that I use in what I call my invisible sales method. Now, look, let me give you some pointers on how to do this now in a real life conversation. When you are speaking to a prospect, what I said earlier on about being fully present with them, it means you need to be fully present with them, which is why I get it. A lot of us are on the phone and you can only talk to them and you can't see them. So in that situation, you need to be fully present with them, and you need to be listening to language patterns. You need to be listening to their choice of words. You need to be listening to pauses. You need to be listening to their tonality. You need to be listening to their projection, their rate. There's so many things that you should be listening to when you're speaking down the phone to a prospect, because that's all the parameters that you've got. However, I highly recommend, where possible, to get them off of the phone and onto either a Zoom call or a face-to-face meeting, because that way you can calibrate on a hell of a lot more, okay? And I'm a big believer that, look, if you analyze statistically, conversion rates over the phone are actually less than conversion rates on a Zoom call. And conversion rates on Zoom call are actually less than conversion rates face to face. What can we learn from that? Because this is not fiction, okay? These are statistics, these are facts. If you go and analyze anyone's sales calls, the ones that do them over the phone don't necessarily close as many as people who close on Zoom, and the ones that close on Zoom don't necessarily close as much as the people who close face to face. What can we learn from that? The more senses you engage with your prospect when you are speaking to them, the more likely you are to close. So when you're on over the phone, you can only really engage their sense of hearing because they're only hearing your voice. You can evoke some feelings by saying certain words, but same for you on a receiving end, you can only receive what you're hearing. Is that making sense? You can't really see them. But when you're on a Zoom call, you can actually see them as well. You can see their body language, you can look into their eyes, you can look at their facial expressions, all that kind of stuff. But again, it's not always 100% clear because you've got a screen in front of you. However, when you're in person, face to face, you can calibrate on their body language better, you can see into their eyes better, and in certain situations where it's appropriate, you can even be tactile with that person, whether that's a handshake or putting your hand on their shoulder when you ask them, would you like someone to help you with that? Do you see where I'm going with this? So like the more senses you can engage, the more likely you are to close. And it's the same with what I'm about to say with closing. The more senses that you can receive, the more likely you are to pick up on information that will allow you to close. So let's talk specifically about decoding secret objections that are going on. Because when your prospect is speaking to you, here's what's happening, is they're sending you a message of some sort. Now that message could be congruent or incongruent with what's going on inside of them. So for some people, you already know that they're ready to buy because they're saying, look, hey, I'm in, when can I start? And they genuinely mean that because you can see that in their body language. And some people will go, yeah, I'm in. Yeah, I guess I'm in. You already know just by their tonality and their body language and their eye contact, they're not really in. They're just saying they're in. It's incongruent with their body language. So what you're looking for is congruency. If you go and speak to any of these, these high-profile FBI negotiators or behavioral profilers or these, these lie detector type people, I don't know what they call them, but you know what I mean, right? The first thing they're looking for is congruence. They're looking for congruence. Is what the person's saying and the way they're appearing and presenting matching up. So for example, someone saying, hey, I'm in, let's do this, versus, yeah, okay, I'm in. There's incongruence in the second one. They say the same words, but it's incongruent in their tonality, if that makes any sense, okay? This is what we're looking for when we're speaking to people. If there's any uncertainty and you're not in tune with them, you're going to make an assumption that they want to do this and you're going to try and go for that kill, go for the close, and then you're going to push them away because they're going to be hit with some resistance and you're going to be hit with another objection. You've got to calibrate. I won't ask for the sale if there's incongruence. So if I was saying hypothetically to somebody, if I was saying to them, hey, so should we move ahead? Are you ready to rock and roll? Should we do this or whatever it is? And they go, yeah, I guess so. I won't go, okay, how would you like to invest? Visa, debit, MasterCard, like how you do that. I wouldn't even go into that. I would go, look, before we continue, I would absolutely love, based on the fact that you said, let's go ahead right now, to send you a link and take your money. I'm sensing there's some hesitation going on because you're not 100% fully committed. Is there anything that's missing right now that you need to know that this is actually going to be the right decision for you? Because I don't just want to take your money. I want to make sure you're making the right decision. So tell me the truth. What's really going on? And then I shut my mouth. If I wasn't in tune with the incongruence with what they said and how they were saying it, I would have missed that cue and I would have tried to take their money. Now, that's a very simple thing. And I expect many of you watching this would already know if someone gives you an uncertainty tone. You should already know that. But I'm just using the example to teach the point I'm making because there are other things going on that you might miss. For example, when somebody says they're in, are they leaning into you or are they sitting back with their arms crossed? Because if someone's sitting back with their arms crossed, there's still a level of uncertainty going on or they're still shut off to a certain extent. So even if they said, yeah, you know what, I'm cool, like let's do this, I still feel that there's not something quite right there. And if you're calibrated with them, you'll pick up on it and it will allow you to go, hey, you know what, let me push a little bit more and find out if this is genuinely something that they want to do. Because let's be perfectly honest, especially if you're in sales, especially high ticket salespeople, Listen up. Like, do you want people to buy from you and then ask for a refund later on? Or do you want them to buy from you and take your commissions or take your money and never have to worry about giving them a refund? Yeah, I guess you don't want to give them a refund, right? So why would you just push to get the sale just so you can tick off your target and then have the risk of someone having buyer's remorse afterwards? It will take you 5 minutes to explore and reframe and get 110% commitment before you go back into the close. Why wouldn't you just do that to avoid this headache later on? Does it make sense? So think about it. You got to calibrate on people. Think about their language patterns as well. What are people actually saying to you? Now, when people are talking to you, they might be moving their objection around. It's what we call move the objection. Okay, so for example, if someone says to you, hey, I really need to go and speak to my wife about this. Most people will go, well, what do you need to speak about? Like, don't do that. That's just dumb. Okay, don't challenge the person over that stuff. You agree with them first. Like, I hear you. If I was in your shoes right now, I'd probably want to go and speak to my missus right now, because if I was about to drop £20,000 on a program, I'd probably want to speak to her too, because otherwise I'd be sleeping on the couch tonight, right? I get that. I understand. And here's the thing. Whenever I've had to go and have a conversation with my partner, I've never had the information I needed to go and make that conversation and make a compelling case as to why I wanted to invest in said program. So, Mr. or Mrs. Prospect, knowing there's a good chance that when you go home and speak to your partner, you might not be fully equipped, what do you need to know right now so that I can give you the information that you need to make sure that you seal the deal? Now, what will happen is two things. Number one, I'm bringing them back into the conversation, which basically means that I'm not letting them off the hook yet, but I did tell them, you can go if you want to, but before you go, let me give you the right information so they're not feeling like pressured or backed into a corner. But I'm also putting them back into the conversation, and I'm now giving them an opportunity to tell me what's really going on. So they might go, well, I know she's going to ask me about the price, and, it's a bit out of the budget right now, so I need to look at how we can afford it. Do you see how the objections moved? It's not really about the wife. It's the money. It's the money. It's the price. It's how much it's costing them. They're probably unaware that I've got payment plans. They're probably unaware that I've got credit lines. They're probably unaware of all this stuff, that they can spread the payments if they want to spread the payments. They're unaware of all this stuff. So I want to make sure that I pull them back in, because 9 times out of 10, if it's about the money and I deal with that money objection there and then, they'll go like, hey, let's go ahead with this stuff. Especially if you've got a refund policy. It's like, look, hey, listen, you can get started for a $200 deposit right now. Go and have the conversation with your wife. I'm giving you all the stuff that you need to go and have the conversation with your wife. But let's be perfectly honest. Like, I'm sure you know her. Of course, you know her better than me, but I'm pretty sure that you know that you've only put down $200. You can spread the rest out on credit later on. We can get started right now. You can go and have a conversation with your missus. Is she likely to say no? It's a $200 purchase. Like, she probably spent that on your groceries without asking you earlier on, right? So go and have that conversation. Look, and if worst case scenario, she genuinely says, hey, this is not for you, whatever it is, blah, blah, blah. Look, it's $200. We'll refund it to you. I don't need to keep your money. We can move forwards, right? There, bang, done. I'm in. I've got some kind of financial commitment. It's not really about the wife. It's about the money. Let him go and have a conversation with his wife if he wants to, whatever it is. And then we're back into the game, right? So what I'm trying to say is you've got to calibrate on language patterns too. What are they really saying? Because at the end of the day, with objection handling, it's very simple. Get to the truth. I want to say that again. Get to the truth. What's the truth? What's the truth? Know the difference between a genuine reason and an excuse as to why someone's not buying from you, but get to the truth. I just want to know the truth. I can't help you unless you tell me the truth. It's a bit like my clients. When my clients are not truthful to me, I can't help them. I don't have any judgments. I used to be a nurse. I don't judge anybody. I don't judge you. I actually want you to be raw and honest with me. What's really, really going on so I can fix it? And it's the same with a prospect. What's really going on so I can help you? Is it money? Be honest with me. Dude, we got payment plans. We got credit lines. We'll help you raise the money. Like, don't worry about that stuff. Like, just be honest with me. But don't ghost me and say that you need to think about it when really you actually want to do this. You just know deep down you can't afford it right now. At least if you're honest with me, I can help you. Do you see where I'm going in this? And that's where you've got to be good with yourself when it comes to asking for the sale. You've got to be good with yourself. You've got to be good with yourself to have those sensible conversations with people. You've got to treat them like your friend and say, look, I care about you. I want to know what's really going on. And unfortunately, 95% of salespeople lack the interpersonal skills or the self-confidence to actually just open up to a prospect and say, look, I'm your friend, I'm your buddy. Like, how can I help you? Like, whether you work with me after this or not, let's just put my product or service to the side. What's really going on? Talk to me. And most of the time, people will relax, they'll drop their shoulders or whatever they call it in sales and relax and chill out and have a conversation because they see you as someone who's actually caring about them in that moment. And you take away the pressure of buying. And all of this happens when you calibrate and you listen to not just the verbal stuff, but you listen to the non-verbal cues too, okay? So I guess what I'm trying to say to you in this video is let go of the scripts, let go of the structure, chill out, have a conversation with people, be fully with them. When you're on a sales call, be on a sales call. Don't be somewhere else. Don't be looking at what am I going to say next. Don't be looking at your screen. Don't be trying to future pace them. Don't be trying to do this. Just stay with them in that moment. And when time's right, you'll know when to ask for the sale. But what we're trying to do is listening and decoding those unspoken objections so that you can handle them before they come up, or you can handle them if they do come up. And that's, my friend, is how you decode your buyers and get them to buy, by calibrating on their body language and calibrating on those hidden signals. So look, if you got value from this video in any shape or form, I'd love you to leave me a comment down below. What are your thoughts? Make sure you hit that notification bell and subscribe button as well, and like the video too. I'd love to hear more from you. Okay, so look, and if you're interested in any way or form of working with me directly one-to-one so that I can implement the invisible sales method into your sales business, into your sales pipeline, for you, your team, it doesn't matter. Conversations cost nothing. We don't pitch to people. We have an exploratory session with you to see if there's any value we can add to what you're doing right now. You may not even need us after that call, but if you do, we can talk to you about how you can either work with me privately one-to-one, or for us to come out and train you and your team. We've got loads of ways that we can help you with this. Okay, I've been doing this for many, many years, and I'd love to serve you with this stuff. All right, we've mastered the art of selling without actually selling, and not many people can say that they've done that. All right, and not many people can tell you from a place of experience, as well as a former psychiatric nurse, what genuinely triggers people to buy in a nice, ethical, non-pushy way. So if you want some help with that, there'll be a link in the description down below for you to book a meeting with us, or you can comment the word sales down below, and we'll just reach out to you directly and hook you up. Either way, I look forward to serving you in some way or form. Take care for now.